So you're thinking about getting a dog? Well, stick around because I'm going to share with you 10 things that you need to know before getting a dog. So number one, and something that is super important to understand, that a dog is for life. So you need to sit down with yourself or with your family and discuss, is a dog right for me? Is it right for me now? And is it going to be right for us in X years to come? A dog can live for a long time. If you're lucky, it can be around 10 to 13 years, depending on the breed that you have. So you need to give that dog everything that it can possibly have in that time. It's no good just bringing the dog in and then thinking, do you know what, this isn't right for me, and then just palming it off. That's not fair, that's not right. So you need to seriously sit down and think, is this dog right for us? Because once you bring it in, that dog is for life. Number two is, can you afford a dog? I'm not saying you need to be super rich, but can you afford a dog now, and can you afford a dog in the X years to come? So supermarkets sell dog food, but it's not probably the best, so you need to buy something a little bit more. You need to, if you're going to get a bigger dog, then that bill may be a little bit higher. Also toys, obviously the dogs like to play with toys, they may get damaged, so you'll then have to replace them. Treats also, they're not always the cheapest, and you don't want to just buy the cheap ones because they've got just junk in them, so you want to pay a little bit more, which again, by the time you've bought the toys and all the other food, it's going to start to add up. So you need to sit down and work your finances out and make sure you can actually afford the dog before you go out and get one. Number three is insurance or savings. So dog insurance can be very expensive, and also you don't always know what you're able to claim on unless you read the exact small print. Some companies don't cover everything. And also something to think about is, if you claim on, let's say, a broken leg, and then you leave that company to go to a cheaper company, the chances are you then can't claim on that specific thing, like a broken leg, because you've already claimed on it. So that's something you need to understand and research before you take out the insurance, or then leave that insurance company if you've made a claim, because you might not actually be covered. And then there's savings. You could put X pounds away per week or per month, which is actually quite good because you then know exactly where that money is going. However, what happens in a month or a year, that something happens to the dog and then you end up with a several £1,000 bill, you're not going to have that much saved up because you've not had that much time. Whereas maybe in 6 or 7 years, something happens, you've had that amount of time to save up. But also, that's something that's super important is, if you've saved up several thousands, you then can't think, oh, that looks really nice, let's go on holiday with it. That's not how it works. That money is for the dog because of any emergencies. So something to remember is you can't then just chip into that for other things. Number four is, what kind of dog or breed is right for you? So you need to sit down, jump on the internet and do a little bit of research. So you also need to understand, what energy levels do you have? Do you enjoy running, biking, hiking? So you're going to want something that has a similar energy level to yourself. If you enjoy walking but not maybe such a far distance, then you need a dog with lower energy levels. And it goes for the same as, if you have high energy levels, then you're not going to want, let's say, like a French Bulldog, because it's going to struggle to keep up. So you really need to sit down and do your research on the breed before you go out and get one. Number five is, once you know the breed of dog that you want, you then need to sit down again and research all the health risks or issues that that dog can potentially have. Dobermans can have DCM, so you need to sit down and understand what DCM is, and then you need to maybe get the right checks to prevent or see if that dog has any issues. Something like a golden retriever can have problems with the hips, with cancer. So when it's a puppy, you really need to reduce how much the dog is possibly running around, running up and down stairs, jumping, to try and reduce any issues that that dog may have in the future. Number six is puppy proofing. Are you willing to puppy proof your house? So basically that means getting down to the level of a dog and just looking around and then removing anything that needs to be removed. So if the dog gets frustrated, or being a puppy, it can bite corners of tables, cables. The dog get the back of the TV where there's going to be lots of cables. A puppy doesn't realise that it can't bite down onto cables, so it could get in some serious harm if that was to be done. So you really need to look around and think, do I want this chewed? Or if the dog was to chew this, then it's going to get hurt. So you really need to think, how can I puppy proof the house before you bring a dog or a puppy in? Number seven is, find the right vet. So if you have a vet that's local to your house, how nice is that vet? And what I mean is, I don't want them just to be good at their job, I also want them to be affectionate towards Murphy. I also want them to talk to Murphy and give him some sympathy. I've been to vets where they're very good at their job, but that's all they do. They just do their job. They don't really show him any affection or really interact with him, which I don't personally like that. I like a vet that shows affection and sort of really takes good care of him. And also, something that is a serious one to think about is when your vet is closed, they have an emergency vet. How far away from your home is that emergency vet? Because God forbid you have an issue with your dog that requires an emergency, you don't want it to be miles and miles away from your home, because it's going to take you longer to get there. So you really need to sit down or ask the vet, how far away is your emergency vets if I have an issue? Number 8 is, are you willing to put time into training the dog? So the dog is going to come knowing absolutely nothing, and it's your responsibility to teach the dog house training and maybe sits downs and how to heel to when it's walking. If you're not sure how to do that, are you willing to put the time into, let's say, YouTube to learn how to do it? Are you willing to read books? And if all that is a little bit too scary, then there are puppy classes. Are you willing to take the time from your life to take the dog to puppy classes and really learn and the things that it needs to know? Number 9 is, are you willing to walk the dog no matter what? So it's super cold, dark and wet outside. You need to be able to get up and walk that dog no matter what, because if you don't walk the dog, then it's going to be bouncing off the walls, and then you're going to have issues because the dog is going to have lots of energy and it's going to need to release that energy. So how am I going to release it? I'm going to start chewing or I'm going to start digging, and then it's no good getting angry with the dog because it's done misbehavior because you couldn't be bothered to walk it. So before you get a dog, you need to seriously sit down and think to yourself, if it's raining, if it's cold or dark, am I willing to walk the dog? And if you can't honestly answer that, then you shouldn't really be going out and getting a dog, because it's then going to create more issues if you don't walk the dog. And number 10 again is, are you definitely sure a dog is right for you? This is a super big commitment, and again I'm probably repeating number 1 is, you need to sit down with your family or with yourself and think and discuss, is this definitely right for us? Because it's a super commitment. It's going to be roughly, if you're lucky, 10 to 13 years, again depending on the breed. So you need to be definitely sure, is it right for me now? I know it's difficult, and is it going to be right for me in the X years to come? Because it's not fair to bring a dog into your life and then think, do you know what, I've made a mistake, and then just palm it off to somebody. That's not fair on the dog. That dog will give you 100% of its love. So you need to return that favour, because dogs deserve that love. So you need to be super sure that that dog is right for you. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you got value from it, be sure to hit that like button. If there's anything I missed or anything else that you would like to know, drop a comment below and I can get back to you there. And be sure to hit that subscribe button. And guys, I will see you soon.